And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Thank you, Lana and Squiggles. The winner of the worst hair in Ark of War is... It's Rayman! Oh God, it's Rayman. He's the worst hair in Ark of War history. I mean, this is a bad example. This is the S-Class Rayman. Normally, he's got like the worst bowl cut. And I can't show you in the game. You actually have to look at the thumbnail. If you clicked up in the thumbnail, there's a thumbnail somewhere that has the A-Class image. But mine's S-Class for now. And that means I can't switch him back to his old A-Class view. But he certainly does have the worst hair. It's like a bowl cut. But anyway, let's get into the Rayman Breakdown. Wow, this is a long-anticipated video. I actually had to change factions, get Rayman back, level him up to S, get his skills at 20. It's been months in the making. So here we are, man. He's one of the last big commanders I haven't done. Let's talk about Rayman. First things first, flavor text. The origins of Rayman are shrouded in myth. Most of the story is Rayman was created by man, a product of the practice of placing the image of God into hearts. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. What does that mean? Rayman was created by man, a product of the practice of placing the image of God into hearts. Maybe he's like a living God cyborg. I think he's like a cyborg. He has a freaking metal head, man. Anyway, so Rayman is a Magiwell faction commander, one of 3. He fits in the rankings with Yuri and Stella, who are also faction commanders. The only way to get him is to get your faction to Revered, and then he just naturally releases out of the Warp Gate. So that's how you get him. If you get him enough times, he turns into S-Class. He becomes the S-Class commander he is, and he has a 40% guaranteed hit skill. So what you need to know is that he does follow the typical 20, 40, 60 skills, right? 20, 40, 60. Mine are higher because I have my Dominion Hull on. It says 66, but an extra 10%. Anyway, slow it down. Bring it back. Here we go. 20% skill says that he gets an increased accuracy on all of his troops and crit chance, not crit damage. Now, it's a good skill, especially early in the game. The problem with this is that accuracy is a win more skill. Like, if someone is like so far ahead of you that you need like 120, 30% accuracy, adding an extra, 30% isn't going to do anything for you. And having another 30% crit's great, but most early level players will be running Sunstriker, which has a great amount of crit on it, crit and attack, instead of just pure Thunders, which are just raw attack, airship attack. So I recommend rolling double Sunstrikers until your research is high enough that you have over 100% crit. For those of you that don't know, when you go to research and you go to your airships, mine is all maxed out, but at mastery you get crit. So I get 20% crit there, and then in the other mastery, aircraft mastery 2, you get another 100% there. So I have 120% off research alone, plus I get another 10% from my guild buffs, I get some from my hull, and I get some from the troops I'm using. Even tier 2 has a base crit of 15%. So, by the time you get to tier 9, you're already critting at 85% chance. So not a very useful skill late game. And the accuracy's nice, but, really, there's just better choices for 20% skills. But that's not why you go Rayman. You go Rayman for the 40% skill. That sweet, sweet, guaranteed hit double strike skill. And what I love about Rayman is, like, what you see is what you get. It is so clear. It's a guaranteed 40% chance to hit, and he'll strike twice. The first strike is normal damage. The second strike is 30% of normal damage. And that's how the numbers run. I'll show you that in some replays. This reads exactly like the Gemini Jewel set. It's a double strike, right? But what I like better about Gemini is it's a 20% skill, and it does 100% on the second strike, where his, even at the highest level, is only 90%. Because it's a 1.5% per level. But let's show that. Oh, who is this? Hey, there's Lop. There's his cameo. Okay, Lop, you have a cameo. Okay, let's go to replay number 1. And this is one. Oh, please don't mess up now. Here we go. All right. So what I want to do is show off the first skill. Mine's only level 20, so the damage is only 30%. And you will see a double shot. So here's a typical strike. There is 730,000 or 740,000. And here's the follow-up, so 218. So a little less than 30% on that one. Here comes another one, 700,000. The follow-up should be 230,000 or so. There it is, 231. Pretty much on the money there. So it's 30% of the base damage. I ended up losing that because that guy in the back had Ghost Cannon. Anyway. All right, so those are his skills. His airship is the typical airship awakening. And here's what we need to talk about Rayman. He is a fantastic airship commander. Early game, you'll get him by just going that faction. And there are other choices in case you went for Voltar or Nixon and you decide you do want to go airship. You can go with other commanders like Vega, who's a typical B-class commander who's easy to get, or Cohen. But let's talk about that. So the evolution of airship commanders. In the early game, before you're at 10 million power, dodge is a really important PvE mechanic, so a lot of people invest their melange into dodge gear, dodge thalamus, gale pants. And it's really dangerous because airships, commanders will run dodge, and if you don't run enough accuracy or guaranteed hit, you're not going to hit airships, which is really crazy because late game, my level, airships don't run dodge. Walkers don't run dodge. Infantry still does. We run dodge for PvE, of course, but anyway, in PvP, early game, 40% guaranteed hit skills are big league. Like, you have to have them. Now, you don't get to start with S-Class Rayman, right? You evolve into him. You absorb into him, right? The concept of, like, when your commander reaches S-Class, you absorb that commander into another. So, in Rayman's ability, set a little leadership absorb. I could take any commander I want and just absorb them. So, if you don't have Rayman and you want to get him, and one day you want to evolve him into Golem, because Golem is like the Charizard of the airship commanders, then you may end up starting off with Cohen, because he has a 20% guaranteed hit raw damage increase. His 40% skill is a heal. It's actually a pretty decent heal, but it's kind of a lose less skill. You don't want to be losing that many troops anyway. And then Takeda also has a 20% skill. So as far as I'm concerned, as far as airship guaranteed hit commanders are concerned, Cohen and Takeda are kind of in the same league. I think Takeda kind of translates better into being a Rogers one day, but that's kind of like, that's an optional kind of just like, I'm trying to, use my brain to draw, similarities when they really don't exist. But anyway, 20% guaranteed hit skills, Cohen and Takeda are your Charmanders, right? All right, then when it comes to 40% guaranteed hit skills, you have Rayman and Vega to choose from, also free-to-play commanders. And Vega hits so hard. The difference between Vega is his isn't a double strike, his is a raw strike, and it ignores target defense buffs. So what's interesting about him is because he only hits once and that debuff is applied on that hit, that also combos with other Leo gems, other Taurus gems, other Scorpio gems, Sagittarius gems. If you have tier 9 or higher, you know what I mean. Otherwise, if you only have airships, you'll want to use Scorpio. Scorpio and that's the only damage for airships. Scorpio, Gemini, if you had to. But once you get tier 9, you can start comboing gem sets. But Scorpio will combo with Breakdown. And that will mean that not only does he do his basic damage, he'll increase his damage again another 100 or 60%, and it'll ignore 6 or whatever the debuff for defense is. So when it all stacks up, instead of hitting twice for 1,000, he might just hit once for 4,000, right? He might do way more damage because the skills stack up. And you think, what are the chances of getting a 20% trigger and a 40% trigger? Well, they're really high, actually. It's like 1 in 8, something like that. What is it? 2 in 5? You never do math when you're filming a video. It never works out. You think it's easy, but it's really not. Anyway, it's like 1 in 8 or 1 in 10 or something. It's really common, actually. Common enough that whenever you see it go off and you get hit by a double strike or a double gem trigger, it's devastating. But all right, in the interest of keeping this video fast, let's tighten this video up. We've covered evolving Vega and Rayman, right? So Vega and Rayman are both 40% guaranteed hit skills. One day you want to turn them into a Golem. You never want to say Rayman is better than Golem. The only time you can ever say Rayman is better than Golem is if your sole purpose is to one-shot somebody that is much less than you. So in other words, if you trigger a Gemini on Rayman with his dead shot, you get 3 attacks. That means you kill the first slot, you kill the second slot, and you hit their ship and one-shot him. You can do that with Rayman, and it's fantastic when you do. And sometimes you get an airship awakening and you kill a bunch of other troops in the process. That happens. But if you're winning that hard anyway, you're better off just getting crushed. Because when you go up against a fair opponent, if you go against Rayman versus Golem or Rayman versus Rogers, you want to have the biggest, hardest hit possible. And that's what Crush does. That's why this is Charizard. Golem is Charizard. He looks like this guy right now. Sometimes he looks like this guy right now. But essentially, Golem is Charizard. He's the third evolution. He's better than Rogers or Rayman. He's better than Rayman and Vega all the time, but he also has that nice guaranteed hit skill, and it says it'll guarantee damage will increase, and it's the base damage. It's not like the other damage scaling. It just hits way harder. But that's kind of where Rayman fits in. That's why I haven't rushed to do a video for him. He's great to get. I ran a Rayman till like 22,000 leadership, and then I finally bit the bullet and switched commanders. So, all right. That pretty much covers Rayman. What am I missing? Gear. All right, so let's talk about gear. You want to build Rayman as a typical one-slot bust glass cannon build. You don't want to go toe-to-toe, right? I mean, if you're going to go toe-to-toe with other golems or Raymans, fine. But if you go toe-to-toe against anyone else like a Blader or a Rogers, you will get crushed. So there's 3 types of airship commanders in the game right now, right? There's the Blader, who has ignore tier suppression, and a ramp ability, Call of the Hunt, where he gets better every round, so going toe-to-toe is in his advantage. Shout out to Illegal. And then there's Rogers, who goes straight defense, pure turtle build, and he's just meant to survive the first round. Then he goes damage immune, and you have to beat him, and you can't because you can't hit him. Well, very hard to hit him. Very hard to do enough damage to really dent him. Shout out to Bullet, or shout out to Plasma and Rita. Okay, and then, of course, there's the glass cannon, big one-slot buster guys like Golem, Rayman, Vega, yeah, and those guys. So how do you want to build them? Well, airships have thunder, right? So that's a really good, cheap, early-level item, just raw damage. But if you don't have mastery yet, you might want to get the crit from Sunstriker. I ran a couple Sunstrikers for a long time. Just always keep that crit over 100%, guys. You do not want to miss a crit chance. And, of course, Rayman does buff his own crit, so if you want to get like up to 90 and play with it, you're welcome to. What I mean is you can count on your buff a little bit if you're close. But anyway, double Thunders is fine. Eventually, you want to turn those into Apocalyptors. I think, actually, Thunders do hit harder, but Apocalyptors provide that accuracy, which is somewhat helpful. You want some accuracy, but as far as gemming is concerned, I would say focus on 2 double hit gems. Gemini, Scorpio, if you don't have tier 9. If you do have tier 9, go for Taurus, Scorpio. And then, yeah, all damage, no accuracy. All attack, attack, attack. Pants, Maguel for sure, because you get damage there. I would run HP and defense. You don't need no dodge. Or if you want, you can go resistance weakened. But you're probably not going to use those gems in this build, so no, probably just HP or defense. Black Knight does give damage bonus if you have a higher tier than your opponent. But you can also go with, Creator is fine. That's a better version of Sheldria. Sheldria. I don't recommend Body of Phoenix. You just don't get the stats. Of course, you can always go Armor of the Tyrant if you have the item. Go for it. It's better than anything else because you don't get damage on a chest piece unless you have higher tier, which is what Black Knight does. And I run Black Knight because I don't know, it's just a really utilitarian item. Okay, so what am I missing? Yeah, I mean, that's Rayman. I personally don't use him anymore. I leveled his skills just for this video. As you guys can tell, I do have a significant lack of gold recently. We are still having the Add Leadership event for the Spring Festival, Chinese New Year. And I burned it all leveling up Bullet, so it's time to officially get rid of this Rayman, and we will absorb him into Bullet. And thanks for watching this video. I appreciate every single one of you. If you want to leave me a like, that would be cool. If you want to join the Line community, check the description below. But yeah, everything you need should be there, and we'll catch you on the next one. So, yeah, check this out. Boom, baby. Bye-bye.